Hi Leo, welcome to Pure Tarot. I'm doing a reading with the new moon in Taurus on April 30th as a backdrop. It is an eclipse, partial eclipse, so it's a little bit stronger and usually has a longer lasting effect in terms of, what it could mean for you, or maybe it's behind the scenes influence, right? New moons are a time of setting intentions, of going within, listening really closely. So maybe find a few minutes of quiet time to let maybe some of your inner self speak to you. So let's look at the cards and see if they can inspire you for that particularly short meditation that you might eventually decide to do on this new moon. We're going to start with the Dark Days Tarot. It's called Dark Days because it's in honor of the phases of the moon, namely the new moon, the dark moon. So there's nothing dark about the deck. We're just going to draw one card out of this deck to get a broader energy for the reading. Let us see. I'm going to need my glasses. And you have the Seven of Wands. I picked up the deck and there's a card that stayed with the Five of Pentacles. Interesting. So two energies of it's coming through as being protective of your funds, of your money, of your wallet, of your bank ID, of anything relating to your resources or your lack of, or maybe pointing at possible loss, right? So that's why I'm emphasizing to be pretty careful, or at least very cautious and very on top of your stuff, right? Just be a little more tight when you follow your finances. Also, discussions around money might make you very, very defensive, right? So it could be all kinds of discussions. I'm just going to give you examples. Someone wanting to borrow money, you're going to feel very standoffish towards that. Maybe with good reason if your own funds are kind of limited or very well, you have a budget and you need to stick to it, something like that. You might be defensive also when people address, your capacity of earning money. That's another thing. Right? You might feel some kind of pinch, right, when they actually, or when the topic comes on, because for some reason you might feel so, I'm going to say it outright, you're a Leo, it might be linked to your pride, you obviously, maybe earning money for you is a way to show your worth to the world. So make sure that you're able to maybe keep that as a value for yourself, but maybe tone down the reactions that you have towards discussing that, or even towards yourself around that topic. Maybe be a bit more lenient, a little bit more accommodating with yourself, right? Maybe even forgiving. We're still coming out of or actually, let me rephrase that. We're in particular times in terms of global economics, so that's important to keep in mind. All right, so that's quite an interesting start to the reading. We're gonna pull some more tarot. I'm gonna honor that you. So I was gonna tell you, I started shuffling and barely even finished shuffling. So out of the Rider-Waite Tarot. 3 cards sort of slipped, so I'm going to take them. I haven't looked at them yet. So we have Judgment in reverse, Hanged Man in reverse, and the 6 of Wands in reverse. So let's start with that for now. Let me look at this globally. Well, the 6 of Wands in reverse is first of all, it's a card of Leo. And in this case, it really points to this sensitivity, especially when it comes to your pride in being successful. So it's really tying in with the first few cards, you know. In terms of the Hangman and the Judgment in reverse, I really feel with the Judgment in reverse, I'm tying it into the loss I was describing, or the possible loss that you might have experienced or might be experiencing. So what I'm sensing here is that there's something you don't want to repeat about the situation. You're realizing where either money's been dispersed or wasted. And I think there's something that you're consciously, with the Hangman in reverse here, you're having a change of perspective, and you're becoming much more aware of, you know, potential losses and things that you don't want to repeat in terms of feeling unsuccessful and maybe lacking in terms of money, literally. So that's an interesting read. It's very, for me, it's very one track, like minded reading kind of. It's the one topic, it's very clear for me. I mean, you could obviously open it up to a different situation if you're going through in a more general sense, you know, something that you felt was quite uncomfortable and that you are really wanting to, not the word avoid, but I am sensing that you're really, how do you say, like, it's a funny feeling. It's sort of, you're just glad it didn't, I don't know, you're glad it, okay, it's really strange. The sentence is, you're glad it didn't end. But in reality, it's ended. I don't know how to explain this. So the nuance here is, the thing that you're glad didn't end is that, let's say I go back to the example of a financial loss. You're glad that you didn't lose more than maybe you've already lost. So you're glad it didn't end. You're glad it didn't go all the way to the, that it didn't get to the worst case scenario, something like that. So it's a really interesting, like it's a double negative. It's really strange. That's the energy I'm getting. I mean, apply it as you wish, right? I don't know your life. And for me, it doesn't really point to a relationship or even partnership. It really points to finances and your values around that, and your capacity to earn, and your self-worth tied to that. And I would even go as far as your identity, right? So it's a delicate subject, but it is extremely important, because it's a strong basis for a lot of other areas in one's life. So it's really something that you have to kind of work out I find that the easiest advice to give you is to simply like really stick to a budget, you know, be very strict, just be on top of your stuff. And I think you've had the epiphany about that. Like I said, I think you're aware that you've had some, that it's detrimental to you, or that it's obviously not serving you. So I feel you're going to take action. So I'm going to pull a little more tarot, maybe 1 or 2 cards. Maybe it'll open up the subject. Because I mean, this is quite specific. I mean, it's a narrow, it's a niche. So maybe it's not what you wanted to hear, but this is what's coming out. Sorry, the no love right here. Not right now. Oh, wow. Interesting. 7 of Wands in reverse. Okay, well, you know, the cards are letting me know that the topic is on point. And it's emphasizing twice, you know. I'm going to say initially the 7 of Wands was upright here with the Dark Days Tarot. But here it's in reverse. So, you know, I wanted to know how you're basically progressing in this situation. And I was giving you advice maybe about, you know, and obviously take it or leave it, right? This is, I'm not telling you what to do. It's simply common sense to tell you maybe to just to really, really stick to your budget and, you know, streamline it, make it really lean. And I think you're gonna come out of your defensiveness. I don't feel that you're totally in the clear of, you know, still being sensitive when we address the subject, or if anyone would address it, or if you have to talk about it, or maybe even reveal to others like your financial situation, or your situation in general. But I think you're becoming a little more, or you will, you know, for moving forward, you'll start, you know, I want to say you're gonna put this wand down, right? You're like, instead of holding it, you're gonna put it down. You're gonna be able to have more receptivity, maybe even more interest. I mean, sometimes people who neglect their finances simply because they just like, oh, it's such a chore, you know, and it's like they're basically they procrastinate. So in the end, it just accumulates, and this is where maybe they miss a deadline or something like that, right? It's as simple as that. So you'll get on top of things here. It's interesting because upright, the man is standing on top of the hill, so you'd be tempted to say that he's on top of things when it's upright. But for me, right now, reading this, the fact that it's reversed is telling me you're overcoming being over defensive. So I find that much more positive in terms of your future attitude. So I'm going to draw some oracle. I don't know how that's going to blend with this kind of reading. It's interesting. I'm going to see if there's a pop out. If not, I'm just going to pull. This oracle is quite symbolic, but it's fine. It'll... Okay, we have one. I love it. It's the sea urchin. You know, it has all these spikes, and I mean, it's really like defensive. I mean, you absolutely couldn't be more on point. This is like the 3rd card, just repeating the same message about, you know, feeling defensive, protective, or, you know. Anyways, I'm going to read out of the book for this one. Obviously, like I said, this is a much more symbolic kind of text here, but who knows? let's not, let's just read. The keyword is protection. I told you, stay on top of things, and I did say, watch out for your ID, your passwords, your banking stuff, like I'm telling you. So, okay, sea urchin is here to let you know that there are protective forces surrounding you, unseen but completely real. Your invisible security detail is always working to keep you safe. Your guardians are most effective at their jobs, however, when you establish clear lines of communication with them. I did say to make your budget, your finances clear, streamlined, and lean. It's sort of the same meaning, right? Clear lines of communication. I'm going to make a parallel. You know how they say if you declutter your house, then you basically are making your force field much more crystal clear, right? Much more, the frequency changes, you know, all of that elevates. It's the same idea. If you clean your finances, it brings you the same elevation. Beautiful message. You only need to ask for the guidance that will always ensure you are in the right place at the right time. So trust that. That was my own words, to trust that. Confidence in your inherent safety. So that's interesting. Maybe the Seven of Wands, the fact that it came out twice, even if one is upright, the other one is reversed, maybe it pertains to when you lack money. I mean, who wouldn't though? That's pretty much, I'm going to make a general statement, but obviously you don't feel as safe if you're lacking in you know, basically your financial freedom, right? But yeah, it's interesting. Money and safety are closely linked. Maybe even more so for you, Leo. Maybe that's what the message really is. Regularly affirm that you live on a friendly planet and that it is safe to be in a body. Okay, that was this oracle, and then I'm gonna draw an angel number for you. If there are no papas, again, I will pull. Okay, 2 cards. There were actually 4, but 2 turned, right? And 2 stayed down, so I put the ones that were down back. And I'm gonna read to you what came out. So we have 0202 and 2323. First one is 0202. You might find yourself at a crossroad, but you are highly sensitive, so you will intuitively know what to do. Just use your heart and trust your power. You have all the answers. And 2323 is, there's a project on your mind. Carry it out and you will be supported and met with success, which was like the urchin, sea urchin message about protection and guidance, and you're well surrounded. And you'll be met with success. So it's interesting because right now you don't feel successful, but if you apply yourself, you will. Get ready to go on a spiritual and physical journey. Your ability to adapt quickly will help you. I like the word adapt. I think maybe in maybe one of the realizations that struck you here about, you know, feeling that, you know, things could have gotten much worse and you caught it on time and you basically like woke up. It's really triggering your adaptability and your flexibility when it comes to, you know, okay, I'm gonna need to make some changes if I want this to work out for me, and if I don't want to feel like this or be in the same situation again tomorrow, right? Or in the future. So that kind of thinking where you're basically going to tap into that particular skill where it's going to facilitate the changes. And that's what I want to emphasize, because with changes comes, you know, this project that you want to carry, that you want to actually, you know, really action, the success that could be pending or will be pending, or let me rephrase that. That would be ensuing, I don't know how to, you know what I mean. If I go back to the first card, the first card is, you know, it says you find yourself at a crossroads. So there's really a moment here, there's a decision, a very pivotal moment, like in French we say décisionnel, like that it's this like a decision, but it's just like the decision you make is really like what tilts everything, right? So it's really the idea of the crossroads also, like it's the same thing. Anyway, I'm not going to extrapolate too long on that. And lastly, I'm going to draw a trinket. I laugh because it's the poker hand. I drew this for Aries, so it's a royal straight flush in the suit of hearts. So, okay, this is money related, so I hope you're not a gambler. I hope you didn't lose money gambling. But I mean, I have to say it's a possibility. So if this is what the underlying issue is, you know, that's very straightforward. But and it would explain very logically, actually, possible losses and actually possible, you know, worst case scenario that I was describing. Oh, it could have been much worse, right? Could have lost a lot more money, etc. But anyway, that's one aspect. The other aspect is you have a winning hand, right? So in that sense, success is pending, what I was trying to say before. And I would say, you know, play on words here, play your cards right. So again, take action, make those changes, tap into your adaptability, and you'll be successful. Or at least, I want to say it's going to give you back a little piece of your self-worth, right? And I think that's the biggest reward. I mean, no money can buy that. So think about that in terms of what's really more important, like having a little more money in the bank account, or having a true healthy self-worth when it comes to your ability to generate money and actually have a stable financial situation, right? Anyway, enough preaching. I'm gonna put the roll straight flush. I'm gonna put it on the angel number, the one with the project. Okay, the one that says that you have a project that you will be supported and met, and that it will be met with success. This is where I wish it for you to be. Okay, Leos, I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a like, share, subscribe the video. I'd appreciate. I'll see you soon.